Today we're talking to St Albans City manager Ian Allinson at a very cold Clarence Park after the Saints have moved up to 5th in National League South with a 2-0 win over Chippenham Town. It's a strange old game, Ian. I thought we were sluggish for the first 15 minutes, a little bit better at times during the next 75, but that had 0-0 written all over it when 2 goals in added time.
I think you're being very kind there, David. I think for 91 minutes we were sluggish. Yeah, for some reason we never really come out the traps really. From the first whistle, they hit the crossbar early on. I think first or second minute. We never really got going. I felt the whole game. We switched players. We switched everything really to try and get us back in it. We went from a 4-3-3 or a 4-5-1 to a 4-4-2, then to a 3-5-2, and just really trying to get a reaction. And we just really struggled. And probably the first time that Kieran's had a bit of space to run at people, and he's got in the box, and unfortunately their lads made a challenge, and Kieran's gone down. And to be fair, our two penalty takers, David Noble and Sam Merson, were both off the pitch, so that was the next situation was that Zane obviously picked it up and stuck it away, which was great from our point of view. And then you always find against these teams, if you can get in front really early and they've got to try and come at you, you can hit them on a counter-attack. But today we just really never really got going. They defended very, very well and always looked like they had something going forward. But as you see, as soon as we were 1-0 up, they're about to chase the game, and within another minute we began to release Reece, who's cut inside, and he's probably scored a dozen of them already this season.
It's funny, that second goal was classic St Albans City the last couple of seasons. We attacked fast and in numbers, but it just wasn't there the rest of the game. No,
I give them a bit of credit. As I said all along, we can't come out and play like we did against East Thurrock and Dartford every week, because teams show you respect after that. And I think Chippenham have worked really hard at nullifying the space for us to use. But when we did have it, we were too slow today. I didn't think we passed the ball sharp today. I felt we was too cumbersome in terms of possession of the ball. We didn't pass forward quick enough. We were side to side, and it was all a little bit slow and deliberate. And it gave them an opportunity to get behind the ball. And when they did that, they never left any space for us. When we got in good areas, our delivery was poor. And to be fair, at the end of the day, I'd probably walked away with a draw today, and just because you're not going to be able to play well every week, and when you have your poor performances, you've got to pick something up. And 0-0 today would have been a fair result in terms of us picking something up. But as I say, that last couple of minutes we managed to drive at them, and we got a little bit of luck and managed to pick up all three. So plenty of times this year we've played really well and got beat, so it's nice to actually not play so well and pick up 3 points.
Even on the other side of the ground in that first half, I could hear you shouting, switch it on, trying to get the players going. What did you say at half time?
Just the same thing really. We needed a spark. Maybe bringing Antonio on just maybe gave us a little bit of a spark. But as I say, all over the park we were struggling. I didn't think we managed to kick the ball well today. It looked like the ball was pumped up too hard for some reason. It was just a strange game. And the pitchers played well, but we never really got going today, and that was just a shambles in terms of where we've been and what we've done, and then turning up like that today. And so it just wasn't one or two. I think the whole sort of 11. I think Dean kept us in it in the first half with a couple of really good saves. One of them got a wicked deflection, which he's managed to keep out. So as I said there, it's nice to play poorly. It's nice not to play well and pick up 3 points, because you just got to keep doing that, and the 3 points at the moment are massive. We've got a dozen games to go, and we've just got to keep picking up as much as we can as we go along, because there's enough teams involved in it now. And looking at just outside the playoffs, Western, Welling and Bath are all sitting there waiting to grab one of these spots.
First change in 4 games, Sean Lucien coming in for Zane Bantam.
Yeah, and I said that before, and I just felt Sean was quite bright when he came on at Welling last week. I felt Zane was a little bit off his game. So it was just me trying to liven them two up, and I've said it all along that all 3 of them, including Reece Williams, I would split it up and twist it around and start 2 of them and bring one off the bench. But to be fair to Reece, he's been very consistent, so it's been difficult to leave him out. I just felt last week that Zane was a little bit off his performance, and Sean came on and was really bright. But they didn't leave any space today for Sean to cause them any problems. And as I say, midfield wise, I didn't think we moved the ball very well today at all.
A debutant today, Antonio German. Since signing his first professional contract with QPR in 2009, 16 clubs, taking him from Loftus Road up to India, ended up at Hemel Hempstead. What are you looking for him to bring to us?
Well, I was impressed when we played against him here on Boxing Day, and I was surprised they didn't play him in the game on New Year's Day. So he's been training full time for the last couple of weeks, and it was just one of them that he came into our to notify to us that he was available, and it was just something I liked him on Boxing Day. Lee spoke very highly of him, and we did a little bit of homework. And obviously he's had a lot of clubs, but he's a very good player. And now we've got to try and find out why he's had so many clubs in such a short space of time, and see if we can help him on that side of it. Because certainly in training Thursday night and what you've seen on today, his hold-up play and his ability to bring other players into the game is outstanding. So we need to find out why. We need to work with the boy and find out over the next few weeks. But just going into them last sort of 8-9 weeks, as I said, we need to just make sure the squad's at the strength it can be. We're going to have a transfer window in 4 weeks' time, which is we've got to make sure that the squad's strong enough for the run-in. We've let Lane Eady go out on loan to Wingate Finchley today for a month. Got obviously Harold still at Hendon until next week, so it's important that the squad remains reasonably strong, but it's also important that some of these players are getting games. And as I say, with Lane and with Harold, they're both going to get games under the belt, so we can bring them back in. Obviously we've got to be aware that Tom Gardner hasn't had a lot of games at the moment, so you know, Harvey's getting some games with Watford, which is good from that side of it, and Charlie Walker's just falling a little bit behind. So squad wise is good, but you've also got to maintain that, you know, the players need to go and get some games as well.
Last week you mentioned it well about being switched on at key moments like just after you scored, and today you're talking about getting the players G'd up. It's clearly not the technical ability that's sort of letting them down at times, maybe it's a little bit mental. How do you actually sort of get into them in training?
Well, obviously it comes from me and Leon in terms of getting players prepared for a game, but we spoke about it at length before the game, probably longer today than we've done any game this season, because our performances against the Dartfords and the Chelmsfords and the Hemel Hempsteads and all these teams have been very, very good. Unfortunately, our standard of performance against the White Hawks, the Bognors, the Chippenhams and Eastbournes and Gloucesters, though it hasn't been poor in some games, we've just not really switched ourselves on. And if you look at all of those teams I've just mentioned, and it's no disrespect for them, they're all in the bottom sort of 6 to 8 of the league, but we've dropped a number of points to them. Now, we can't keep dropping points to teams in the bottom of the league if we want to progress. It's okay to say turning up against Dartford when you want to turn up, and we've got over 1,000 people here. It's okay turning up against Chelmsford and teams like that. We have to turn up when we're playing Chippenhams and Bognors and all these sort of teams. And fortunately enough today we've managed to pick up the 3 points, but it wasn't a performance that I can walk away from here and be pleased, because obviously there was a game we just didn't really reach the heights of what we've done. So it comes from me, it comes from Lee, it comes from the players, and also from the supporters, that we need the support to get the players going, because unless we can generate the atmosphere in and around the ground, if we can generate that atmosphere and generate the team we're playing against is going to be a massive team, then we should obviously react to that. But at times we just don't really switch on in some of the games against some of the lesser teams, which is disappointing. But they're the things that we have to keep working with these players, especially over the next couple of weeks, because we've got a dozen games to come, and some of them against teams that are in the lower reaches of the table.
But you would hope, obviously, this result, I mean, it's such a relief, I think, at the end for a lot of people. It's a good win, it could be a pivotal win. You hope this is going to be the final prompt that they need to go on and
hopefully they can learn from stuff like today. It'd be nice if they could, because obviously we try and preach it to them about raising their game for the lesser games, because they've got to. I mean, every player has to play to a level week in, week out. I can't fault the players' work rate today, because I felt they worked extremely hard, and at times Chippenham made it very difficult for us, and the game got a little bit stretched out. But we worked hard. It's just the general quality at times was poor today. We didn't really move the ball quick enough. I just felt we're having too many touches when we got good possession of the ball, when we should have been moving it just a little bit quicker than what we was, and maybe going forward a little bit quicker. We went side to side a bit too much today.
This coming Tuesday, it's a big game. We're heading way out west to Winterstoke Road to face Weston-super-Mare. If we win, we give ourselves a nice little cushions in the playoff there. If Weston win, it puts pressure on that top pack. They're snapping at everyone's heels.
Yeah, exactly, David. And that's why I said I think it's nice that we can keep as many teams involved in it as we go into the last few weeks of the season, because there's lots of derbies coming up and there's lots of crucial games where it's 6 pointers. So the more we've got in that, the better it will be. As we see a few years ago when we was in a relegation battle, the more teams that got involved in that, the better it was in terms of where we was. So listen, we're going to go there. They're a really good footballing side. It's going to be a tough game. But we've got to go there and just show a little bit of mentality that we've not shown sometimes away from home. We might have to go there and be a little bit more rigid. Maybe not be so open as we was last week against Welling. But if the opportunity to come along, we've got to take it. I mean, I think today was our fourth penalty of the season, which is great, because now we've got 2 penalties in 2 weeks, where we've gone sort of 5 or 6 months without a penalty. So it's good from that side of it. You know, we're driving into the box, but you know, it's going to be tough going there on Tuesday in terms of that. But when, as I say, the opportunities come along, we've got to take them.
Lovely, thanks so much, Ian, and congratulations. We had to wait a bit, but it is worth it. So it's St Albans City 2, Chippenham Town 0. That puts us into 5th place in National League South. Tuesday night, Winterstoke Road, away to Western Supermare. Kick-off is at 7:45.